Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chief Operating Officer and Executive Vice President, Kia Motors America, Michael Sprague.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for what is going to be one of the most important days in the history of our fast-growing and rapidly maturing brand. Now, science has long recognized the effects of color on people's moods, beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and no color goes to the extremes like red. Red is dynamic. Red is intense. Red symbolizes love and aggression. Red demands attention and summons courage. Red is hot. And red can take your breath away. Red is Kia. Now, over the last decade, Kia has transformed into one of the fastest and greatest car company success stories the industry has ever known. And last year was bigger than ever with an all-time best annual sales record of more than 647,000 vehicles here in the United States. And of course, our historic rise to the top in the J.D. Power Initial Quality Rankings. All of this and more has happened under the watch of several executives who proudly wear Kia red. So it's my pleasure to introduce the Vice Chairman and CEO of Kia Motors Corporation, Mr. Hank Lee. The Vice Chairman of Research and Development for the Hyundai Motor Group, Dr. W.C. Young. President and Chief Design Officer of Kia Motors Corporation, Mr. Peter Schreier. And the President and CEO of Kia Motors America, Mr. Justin Sohn. Now, red is the color of fire. And at Kia, we are driven by a burning desire to push the envelope on what this brand is, can, and will be. This red effect, as we call it, is the force behind every new vehicle we introduce, every sales milestone we achieve, and every third-party accolade, quality, and reliability that we receive. But what you're about to see is what happens when a talented group of dreamers at a global organization harness the power of the red effect to create a rear-drive sports sedan brimming with passion and performance, and marks the culminations of a years-long journey fueled by our bold and adventurous spirit. So without further ado, we proudly present a Kia like nothing that has ever come before it. Designed in Frankfurt, developed on the Nürburgring, and built by the company that delivers the best initial quality in the industry.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chief Designer of Kia's Europe Design Center, Gregory Guillaume.
Good afternoon, guten Tag, and bonjour. Unconstrained by any laws of engineering or physics, meant drawing cars as a child had no limits. Creating cars that were, in my eyes, beautiful, dynamic, original, and of course, very fast. And maybe a few of them could even fly. Growing up in France provided me with dreams. Being witness to the iconic 1970s GT cars that whisked passengers from Paris down to Saint-Tropez in effortless style and at high speed was a true inspiration for the GT concept in 2011. Once the Stinger was greenlit for production, the idea was simple. Channel the spirit of those iconic Gran Turismo into something to create something emotional and elegant. But what makes a true Gran Turismo? That question became our mantra throughout the development process. A Gran Turismo is a car for spirited long-distance driving. It's not about outright power and brutal styling at the expense of luxury, comfort, and grace. This car is all about the journey. It's about passion. It was a tall order we had to fill, so how did we do it? Proportion is everything. From the wheelbase to the greenhouse, widths and heights, even the shape of the body panels. Getting the perfect balance is critical. With the Stinger, the hood is long and the cabin is positioned towards the rear. The back glass is steeply raked and the deck lid is short, creating a fast silhouette. The body tapers inward at the midsection, while strong, masculine shoulders stretch over the fenders. And just look at the stance. The wheels are pushed to the edges and the car sits slow on its suspension. Details from the concept can be seen in the diffusers on the front quarter panels and the trailing reflectors in the rear flanks. From the front, Stinger is proud and confident. The grille is wide and highlighted by a tiger nose design, which is detailed in smoke chrome. All of the aerodynamic features, the front air curtains, wheel arch gills, smooth underbody tray, and integrated rear diffusers are functional rather than visual and play a key role in high-speed stability. The headlamps are swept back into the fenders to lend a feeling of speed. It is a design that is simple, cohesive, and perfectly balanced. Inside, we created a purposeful cabin that is luxurious and exquisitely crafted. A strong horizontal plane across the dash presents the driver with a thick leather-wrapped steering wheel. A satin metal band divides the space, and additional metal details are found on the door panels and switchgear. A single instrument cluster features large gauges ringed in chrome with sweeping red needles. The long wheelbase creates ample room, and this is especially true in the rear seating area. The occupants sit slow in deeply bolstered and supple leather seats, allowing generous headroom throughout. It is a space dedicated to the thrill of driving, but never compromises comfort. Stinger is the complete package with upscale materials and amenities, user-friendly technologies, and advanced connectivity. Now, working on this car was a dream come true for me, and so many others at Kia. I still get a buzz just thinking about it, and of course, it looks really great in red. But aesthetics are only one part of the story. There's also athletics. So here to tell you how Stinger ushers a dynamic new era for Kia, please welcome the head of vehicle test and high-performance development, Albert Biermann.
Thank you, Gregory, and good afternoon, everyone. Before joining the company in 2014, I was shown many future vehicles, and it was a Stinger that immediately captured my attention. From the moment I saw it, I knew that Kia had a challenger spirit that was unafraid to break down barriers. And as an engineer, I thought that was very compelling. I also knew that Stinger had to drive as good as it looks. And it had to be an authentic Gran Turismo. And getting it just right required countless laps around the Nürburgring, as well as our high-performance track in Korea. As Gregory said, Stinger had to be athletic. And that starts with a solid chassis that has 55% advanced high-strength steel. This rigid body allows the suspension to do its job properly and also reduces NVH. The driver can modify Stinger's handling through an electronically adjustable suspension, which is a Kia first. Also a first is a drive mode select system with 5 unique settings that adjust steering boost, shift points, throttle mapping, and suspension damping. Variable ratio rack mounting steering offers exceptional feedback and response while reducing vibration through the column. Now, the soul of the Stinger may be the chassis, but the engine is its heart, and we will offer 2, mounted front to rear as expected of a real Gran Turismo. A 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder produces 255 horsepower, and models that will be labeled Stinger GT will be powered by a twin-turbo 3.3-liter V6 that makes 365 horsepower, with a peak torque available from just 1,300 RPM. With the V6, we are targeting 5.1 seconds to 62 miles per hour, the fastest acceleration production Kia ever, and a top speed of 167 miles per hour. Both engines are backed by an 8-speed transmission, and Stinger is our first sedan with available all-wheel drive, which features a new dynamic torque vectoring control system. And rear drive Stingers get the benefit of a mechanical limited slip differential. A choice of 18-inch or 19-inch staggered wheels will be available, and the V6 is equipped with powerful fixed caliper high-performance brakes. Of course, Stinger is equipped with an entire suite of the latest driver assistance systems, such as autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection and advanced smooth control. A new system called Driver Attention Alert helps prevent driver fatigue, although I don't think anyone will become sleepy when piloting this machine. The Stinger is not just another new car. From the way it looks to the way it drives, it's a whole different animal. It's the ultimate expression of the red effect that Michael described earlier, and an important step in a journey that started several years ago. And I promise, after driving it, you will never look at Kia the same again. Thank you, and now I turn back to Michael.
Thank you, Albert. Well, you've heard this from us before, but when you look at the Stinger, it bears repeating. The Kia you knew 10 or even 5 years ago is gone. So Peter, Gregory, Albert, we are simply blown away by the magic that your teams have performed on the Stinger. Great job, and thank you. Now, the Stinger, it's a bold name for a red-hot vehicle, and we believe it will fundamentally change the global image of Kia when it goes on sale this year as a 2018 model. The charisma and the passion and the desire that you see here today is a new reflection of the Kia brand. It is the red thread that runs through the fabric of our culture and sets the tone for what you can expect to see more of in the future. With that, we thank you for coming and invite you to come up and take a closer look at the all-new Kia Stinger.